Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tables, Ladders, and Podcasts, the only podcast that will never forgive Chris Jericho. This is episode 138. I am your host, as always, Poit, and joining me on the panel to discuss the week in WWE, we have Wehrman.
You may think you know the reason we'll never forgive Chris Jericho, but trust me, this goes deep.
And, well, we will have Jabba later, but he is currently unable to join us. So, until then, Mr. Wehrman, do you have any news?
I've got some news and bits of rumors and whatnot. Let's start off with some good news. Due to the success of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic this past year, WWE has announced that they will be making it an annual event for NXT, with the finals to be held at a takeover event corresponding with SummerSlam.
Nifty.
Yeah, so I'm cool with that. I really enjoyed the Tag Team Classic this year. NXT has a great tag division, so the more they get to showcase it, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Another piece of news, when news of the NJPW signings broke last week, it was assumed that Shinsuke Nakamura would be joining the other signees later in the year, as he still had obligations as the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. However, Nakamura has officially been stripped of his title, and it's been reported that he'll be working in the WWE Performance Center as early as February.
Wow.
So, on the one hand, it really sucks that they just took the belt off of Nakamura, and he didn't get to put someone over like, I don't know, Ibushi or somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, we get Nakamura early.
That's pretty awesome. So how long do you think it'll take for him to appear on NXT?
I have heard that he's not going to NXT at all, that they're just going to bump him up straight to the main roster like Styles.
Oh, wow.
In fact, some of the rumors, Hideo Itami on his Twitter announced that he was frustrated about, his setbacks with overcoming his injury and certain rumors, and that may be what he was alluding to, the fact that Nakamura is possibly going to just skip him.
That would be after Hideo Itami was basically made the big Japanese star in NXT and in the future WWE, it would kind of suck for him for Nakamura to just go past him like that.
Yeah. On the other hand, there's there's enough room for more than one Japanese guy on WWE.
Okay,
at least there should be.
Yes, there should be, but we know.
Yeah, well, I still think it can work because Nakamura and Itami have very different personalities. Itami is a very no-nonsense, straightforward competitor, and Nakamura is like a rock star. So you can still have both guys on the show in completely different capacities.
That's fair.
Yeah. Or, like I said, do the super group with those two and Asuka and just have them just kick everyone's face in. It would be amazing. There is seemingly a running trend of rumors going around that people are injured, and then they take to social media saying that they're not injured, but maybe they are. So, starting with the first one, Sasha Banks, her conspicuous lack of TV time was rumored last week to be due to an undisclosed injury, though Banks herself denied it. However, PW Insider is reporting that Banks does in fact have an injured MCL in one of her knees, likely from her match with Becky Lynch. The good news, however, is that she's expected to return to the ring next month. So the bad news is Sasha Banks probably is hurt. The good news is she's not going to miss Mania.
And not just that, but it's only for a month, and this month they're focusing on Charlotte and Becky Lynch, so it's not really much of a blow.
Yeah, so really it's just she's not going to be on TV having throwaway matches with Alicia Fox or Brie Bella or whoever.
Yeah.
On a similar subject, Rusev has tweeted about injury rumors of his own, saying that he wasn't on this week's Raw not because he was hurt, but because he's participating in WWE's Tour of India.
Is that where Barrett was?
I believe so.
Okay.
And also, Randy Orton has reported on social media that he will not be requiring neck surgery, as was reported earlier. And while he is not a lock for WrestleMania, he is expected to return to action in mid to late March at this point.
Yeah, I mean, without the neck surgery, that brings his comeback like 8 months sooner or something, right?
Yeah, so that does accelerate his recovery significantly. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to be back in time for Mania, and if he is, it's probably going to be too late for them to actually put him in any major story. So he'll probably just get a throwaway match where he RKO's Rusev or whoever.
Well, no, he'll make a big return the next night on Raw.
Yeah, probably. The other bit of rumor control going around, an anonymously posted email sent to wrestling reporter Scott Keith claimed to be from a low-ranking staff member in WWE's HR department, and that said employee was made to file a release for Daniel Bryan. However, WWE has officially denied this email, as a spokesman informing several different members of the press quoted, "There is no truth to this letter from a supposed WWE employee." So if you have heard that rumor making the rounds, I know What Culture reported it and made a big article about it. Everything is leaning to it not being true.
Okay.
It sounds like they were just fed a BS story and ran with it. And the last bit of news I've got is kind of a weird one. WWE has filed a trademark on the phrase "No Way Jose."
What?
Yeah. Okay. And according to PW Insider, it is to be used for a current NXT rookie by the name of Levis Valenzuela Jr. So apparently his NXT name will be Jose something or other, and his catchphrase will be "No Way Jose" or something in that regards. It sounds really lame and really stupid.
Yeah, it does.
But
it
NXT
really does.
has had success with taking really lame and really stupid things and making them into actually kind of lovable gimmicks. So who knows? Maybe they'll be able to spin more hay into gold here.
Okay.
That's all the news I've got. So
shall we move into some talking points?
Let's get in. Let's get on with it.
All right. Well, since I believe Mr. Jabba was not able to watch Smackdown, I'd like to start with that. I'll just go over it briefly while we wait for him to get here.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is a journey you will have to embark upon alone because I missed Smackdown this week.
Alas. Now, this week on Smackdown, we had the debut of Mauro Ranallo, who is joining King and Byron Saxton on the commentary team there. And he was pretty good. I really enjoyed his commentary. He's a new play-by-play guy. He was like actually calling moves.
Oh, wow. That's such a... I hate saying that, like, knowing wrestling is so rare on your wrestling show. That shouldn't be a thing that happens.
Yes. Now, I've seen people online discussing this, saying things such as, like, hopefully this isn't just a case of, like, it being his first night and Vince is not yet yelling in his ear, but he will this week. So, because, if you recall, Michael Cole was good on commentary during Beast in the East when, Vince McMahon was sleeping.
Yeah, that's the thing. There are people on WWE's commentary team who know their job and are good at their job when they're allowed to be. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Cole knows wrestling. He's just forced to be like the mouth of Sauron for Vince McMahon and just parrot whatever is shouting in his ear.
I'm sorry. That image you just gave, I'm imagining like a giant flaming parrot's beak emerging from the spires of Orthanc.
First of all, the Dark Lord Sauron was in the Tower of Barad-dûr, not Orthanc. That was Saruman.
Right. Orthanc was Saruman. Sorry. I am being out-geeked here.
Unacceptable.
Right. Sorry. But yeah, so during SmackDown, he was also like putting over various people, such as like how Byron Saxton is on every show.
Mm-hmm.
So he referred to him as the ubiquitous Byron Saxton, and then there was the diminutive dynamo Kalisto.
I like that.
He was like doing that throughout the show, and it was like just these little things to like try and just put everything over.
It's like the anti-JBL, like how like fucking Gibbles on every single show just needs to torpedo whatever they're trying to get over.
Mm-hmm. Although, unfortunately, it is not only JBL who seems to do that. We had a match that was Charlotte versus Becky Lynch on SmackDown. And during this match, Ranallo was talking about how impressive Becky Lynch was when he saw her competing before her WWE days. And Jerry Lawler just basically said, that doesn't count. It's not WWE.
Oh God, I fucking hate that. Especially since they just made huge headlines about how they're bringing in all these guys from outside of WWE. Going, holy fuck, we got AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. Look at us. It's only important. It's the outside world is only important when they say it is.
Yes.
You know, imagine if when Sting showed up, they're just like, oh, this fucking loser. Where'd he come from? Oh my God.
Hey, it's a Jabba.
It is. I think I'm now the Brock Lesnar of TLP.
Are you now?
Yes. I don't have to be there for the opening of the show. Only the juicy portions.
Well, I mean, it's only like 3:22, so right now you're like the opening match.
Oh. Okay, I take that back. I am the Curtis Axel of TLP.
Yeah, like we just finished with the like 20-minute authority promo.
Oh, good.
Now, also during SmackDown, Kalisto had a match with Alberto Del Rio, which Kalisto had a surprise win in. I wonder if this will lead to some sort of push for him. I wonder. Shall we move to Raw, gentlemen?
Yes, let's.
Yes, let's move to the show that people actually watch.
Okay. Mauro Ranallo was really good on SmackDown. That's why I watched it. I'm going to watch again this week.
Was he?
Yes.
I might have to tune in and check out an episode then.
Yes.
Sounds
But
interesting.
anyways, on the subject of Kalisto maybe getting a push, Kalisto seems to be getting a push because he is now the new United States champion.
Can that really be considered a push, though? I mean...
Well, it depends on your definition of the word push, I think. It can be kind of a lateral push.
Well, I mean, he was kind of just doing nothing in the tag division, and then a unfortunately well-timed injury to his partner has led to a singles push for him, and now he's a mid-card champion.
Do you think that there's some kind of shoulder workout machine that Kalisto has been tampering with? Because never before has anyone benefited from 2 shoulder injuries to this extent.
2?
Yeah, because there was his tag team partner, and then John Cena, obviously, who clearly would have won the title back from Del Rio.
And not just that, but said injured Cena was putting over Kalisto on SmackDown.
That's true. I certainly hope that I haven't read spoilers for this week's SmackDown results that may tarnish the development of Kalisto as a singles star.
I did hear something about WWE.com spoiling something from this week's SmackDown, so I have avoided going to that site today.
I generally avoid going to that site regardless.
I accidentally stumbled across it while looking up news for this week's episode, but...
The perils of being the on-the-spot newsman of TLP.
Yep. It's like being a war correspondent.
Right.
In that... I don't know.
You correspond things, and Raw used to be called Raw is War, so it's a stretch.
Yes. So moving on, Mr. Webman, I believe you noted that there was actually some blood in a match on Raw that was not caused by Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, in the opening match where Sheamus and Ambrose start beating each other up, and then the referee calls off the match because too much wrestling is happening. There's a bit when, right when they hit the 10 count, Ambrose shoves Sheamus into the corner post, and it busts Sheamus open. And they actually showed it on like the YouTube channel too. Normally they edit that stuff out, but no, I actually saw blood on there too. So I don't think they're gonna go back to the old ways where everybody was bleeding all the time, but I don't think they're going to shy away from it now either. I don't know.
There's certainly a happy medium to be found between like the Ric Flair constantly bleeding every time he walks out to the ring, and people rushing in with towels and all the matches being stopped as soon as there's a single drop on someone's head. There is some middle ground you can find there.
I think it could be said that there is a happy medium between Ric Flair and anything else.
Have you seen that Botchamania clip? You know how, like, in the ending of every episode of Botchamania, they just take, like, random movie clips and stuff like that.
Okay.
And edit wrestling stuff into it. Somebody took... they just, like, and now Ric Flair's forehead. And it's just the elevator doors from The Shining. Blood just starts gushing out of it. It's incredible.
Lovely. Lovely. Let's see. Now, you also noted that Chris Jericho is a horrible person who ruins everything fun.
Oh my god! Like, I had the same conversation last week. I love Chris Jericho. He is one of my favorite wrestlers ever. But holy shit! Like, babyface Y2J is just insufferable. Like, if he was supposed to be an obnoxious prick who just ran everything down to amuse himself for heel heat, he'd be great. That's what the Chris Jericho character was always about.
So, I would say he's on the level of prankster face Roman Reigns, but he's just, better at talking.
Yeah. At least when he's not saying stuff like Rudy Tooty Booty. that was on the level of suffering succotash, son.
If he was coming out to antagonize people the crowd genuinely disliked, that would probably help as well.
Yeah. People love the New Day. The only reason they're not faces right now is because the McMahons are like perpetually 9 months behind the rest of the world.
The way it comes off, it's like Jericho just hasn't watched any wrestling at all since the New Day actually became popular. And he's just come out and he realizes that they're something that were getting booed heavily at one point. So he's just like, hey guys, let's rag on the New Day. That's cool, right? Yeah? Everybody with me? Yeah, New Day's... Oh, wait. Like they're not joining in with him. He doesn't know why. It's kind of embarrassing.
It really is.
Alas. Now, also, what was up with Stardust and Titus O'Neil just having another throwaway match?
I don't know, like, it's that thing they always do with a lot of their lower to mid card acts, where like there should be a story here, but we can't be bothered to think of one, so we're just gonna have a match, and Titus is just gonna win every single time.
It's like they got a little bit of a story. They had the lead into a story, and then instead of an actual story, they're just giving us the conclusion over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and also, what the hell? Like, the day after David Bowie dies, and you have a character named Stardust, dressed up as Ziggy Stardust, and he fucking loses?
Well, maybe he wasn't a close personal friend of Triple H.
Yeah, if he had like named himself Lemmy, that Cody Rhodes would be like a 3-time world champion by now.
All right. Now, something we did not discuss in our news items because we left it for a talking point. Sting is being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
It's a damn good choice. I mean, he absolutely deserves it.
Are we assuming this is the end of his in-ring career?
I kind of hope so. I mean, that sounds bad, but considering the last time he wrestled, he got hurt really, really badly.
Mhm.
I don't want to see Sting get hurt, you know?
Right.
I feel like he possibly overexerted himself in a match with someone he couldn't keep up with last time. I think if they put him in there with, let's say, The Undertaker to have one of those really, really slow, someone's down on the ground for a full minute while someone yells, stay down, those Triple H matches, if you will.
Yes.
I think he could pull off a few more of those if he wants to.
Maybe, but, I mean... my whole thing, and this has been a huge point of frustration for me ever since Sting showed up, the big dream match that everyone wanted to see with Sting was against Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker is almost definitely gone after this year's Mania. So now, what's the point of keeping Sting around, too? All that said, though, I mean, I am incredibly happy that Sting is getting the spot he deserves in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see his speech where he talks about how his career wasn't even half as good as Triple H's.
I'm going to guess it won't include that.
Okay. I guarantee you at some point he will, like, take a minute to thank Triple H for this huge opportunity.
And by a minute, you mean like 5 minutes of the speech.
Yes, and about how he's such an inspiration to everyone. And
I can sense that as well.
So moving on to the Wyatts. Now, last week on Raw, we saw them attack not only Ryback but also the Big Show, which led us to believe that they would become this force that was attacking both faces and heels leading up to the Rumble. Therefore, during the main event of Raw, they were helping out the Authority.
Well, it depends what you mean by helping out.
Yeah, they were just kind of hanging around.
And then they just left.
Yeah, I love that as soon as like they realized, so we're not gonna actually get to do anything. All right, fuck it. Like they didn't run in to beat up Roman Reigns. They didn't stick around to get suplexed by Brock. Like as soon as they realized the match was over, they was like, all right, whatever.
I mean, would you stick around and get suplexed by Brock?
No, but apparently a lot of the WWE roster does.
It was quite funny, though, that the New Day just didn't get what was going on. And they thought Lesnar was just their buddy now for a brief moment.
Also, I like that Kevin Owens actually got to look pretty okay there, like getting in some shots on Lesnar before he got,
not just on Lesnar, but like going into that 1 versus all match. I mean, you were expecting Reigns to, bury half the roster, but instead he just had a good match with Owens.
Yeah, Roman looked good, Owens looked good, and then a clusterfuck happened.
I didn't get what was going on with that 1 versus all match.
The booking for that was really dumb.
I thought whenever someone took a move from Reigns and they were down, they would just like roll to the outside, and then Vince would just say, "Okay, you're in next," and then it just keep going like that. So it was constantly a fresh man facing him.
That would actually make sense. Do it kind of like Lucha Libre rules, where rolling out of the ring is the same thing as a tag.
I thought it was going to be something like a gauntlet match.
They didn't really explain it at all. Were we just supposed to know exactly how a 1 versus all match works?
They didn't explain it because I don't think the actual rules of the match were all that relevant to the story.
Yeah, I don't think they knew what the hell they were doing until it was time to go out there. It's one of those where you can tell they made that up like on the day.
It was a handicap Duchess of Queensberry match, and Vince McMahon is the Duchess.
Mm-hmm.
I feel kind of awkward whenever Vince is talking nowadays because you're just waiting for the wrong word to come out of his mouth and for him to not realise. Mm-hmm. He's just got that look on his face like he's slightly confused all the time when he's talking now.
Yeah, it's like, when is he going to say the wrong word? When is he going to say something racist?
Or both at the same time, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Also, did anyone notice that he told like Dolph Ziggler, it's like, maybe you'll get your opportunity to be world champion when he's already won the world title twice?
Yeah.
I hope that was intentional.
Vince. All right, now on the same subject, Brock Lesnar is back. He's in the Rumble match, and he's not happy about that.
No, he is not. I think... Oh, go ahead.
Imagine if he just German suplexes people over the top rope.
He's got to do that at least once.
I'm going to guess Kofi.
Into the other members of the New Day, just so he doesn't die.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, that would make a hell of a spot. I kind of hope he does do that.
We've recently had a German out of the ring, haven't we? Was it at the most recent TakeOver?
Jason Jordan belly-to-bellied somebody over the ring. I know that.
That might be what I'm thinking.
Seems like it would be more dangerous. Unless you've got the cushion of a big E to break your fall.
I think it was definitely onto other people.
Yeah.
I think this Lesnar being back and in the Rumble does make it a little more interesting, I think. Because obviously we're concerned that Reigns might win, but we think he probably won't. But when we were looking at the other options, we thought, who out of this slot are they really going to trust to have the title heading into Mania? And it was a very short list. So
I have like a, obviously like a fantasy booking best case scenario kind of booked out in my head, and comparing it to what they're probably going to do. Like, best case scenario, the number 30 guy is like Dean Ambrose, right? But he gets jumped as he's making his way down the ring. So there's just no number 30, right? And it gets down
John Cena.
No. It gets down to the final two, and it's Brock and Roman, of course, because that's what everyone's expecting. Mm-hmm. And they just beat the holy Christ out of each other until finally Roman hits him with like 3 or 4 Superman punches, like knocks him over like onto like the apron, and Paul Heyman is like up there trying to like distract him, and Roman just like double Superman punches them both off the apron. Brock lands on his feet, but he's eliminated. So it looks like Roman wins the Royal Rumble, and everyone is mixed cheering and booing because we can't have a top face who more than half the crowd likes. And then Triple H comes out and like kicks Roman in the dick and says, "There's still one more guy." And then he brings out AJ Styles, who chucks out Roman.
I'm sorry, do you really believe that AJ Styles is going to win the Royal Rumble?
He fucking should.
In terms of believability, I was kind of with you up until
No.
You said like, AJ Styles.
I am still of the opinion that Triple H is going to be using the Bullet Club members as like his new Shield. And what better way to set that up than to have Triple H handpick his new Seth Rollins to be the champion? In kayfabe, he totally doesn't deserve it, which is why people will hate him. Out of kayfabe, he absolutely deserves it because he's AJ fucking Styles.
More realistically, I think if they were going to do something with them, they would probably just jump Roman during the match, beat him up, and which would then leave him ripe for the plucking for someone to just eliminate him.
I think, okay, my sort of best case scenario, the title match at WrestleMania is not the main event. It would be like AJ against, again, best case scenario, a returning Daniel Bryan.
And so the main event would be like Undertaker's retirement match?
Yeah, it would be Undertaker against, well, let's be honest, it's probably against Brock again, because who else is it going to be at this point? And then you have, like, Roman Reigns have a big grudge match with Triple H. Realistically, I think they are going to bring in the Bullet Club members, they are going to try and make them the new Shield, but his first feud is going to be against, like, Neville. And I think it will come down to Roman and Brock in the final two, like I said, and there'll be some sort of shenanigans where Roman gets screwed because the good guy has to go into WrestleMania as the challenger. Mm-hmm. And we'll do like Roman Brock Part 2 for the title match at WrestleMania. And Undertaker's farewell match will just be him probably beating up one of the Wyatts, either Bray again or Beef Stroganoff.
There's still something I've been wanting to happen for years, and that is, okay, what would you think of this? At WrestleMania, in the Undertaker's retirement match. He wants the one prize in WWE he's never won. He wants to complete his Grand Slam championship, challenging Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship.
I thought for some reason you meant the Divas title.
I think that's a better idea, actually.
But no, I think.
And you go into it knowing it's Taker's retirement match, and so even if he wins, he'll vacate the title the next day on Raw.
That'd be cool. I would like to see Undertaker and Dean Ambrose. Like I said, I think it's going to be Undertaker against somebody with a stable, so either one of the Wyatts or one of the League of Nations, and they'll have a bit.
Or one of the Social Outcasts.
Yeah. Well, they'll do a bit where, like, right at the very end, everybody else in the stable runs in to try and, like, gang beat up on Undertaker, and then Sting will show up with a baseball bat, not have to take any bumps, but, just run everybody off with the baseball bat. Sting and Taker have the WrestleMania moment where they stare each other down and then shake hands, and then they both agree that neither of them are half the man Triple H is, and that's how the
All right. Well, I believe we have one talking point left for today, and that is that the Becky Lynch-Charlotte feud is actually seeming like a feud now.
Yeah, they're fighting like they want to hurt each other.
Mm-hmm.
There's emotional investment in it, and I want to see the babyface overcome the heel.
Yeah, and not just that, there is a clear face and a clear heel, rather than just like
they're not just catty and awful people. They finally figured out if we're going to have Charlotte impersonate Ric Flair, we have to remember that Ric Flair was a fucking asshole.
Speaking of Ric Flair being an asshole, didn't he like call some random person in the crowd fat?
Yeah, I love it. Like he used to do that all the time. Like he would just pick some random guy in the crowd and keep calling him Fat Boy.
Initially, I thought he was talking to Charles Robinson. I'm like, what? But that's Little Nate.
I love that Little Nate seems to be the one who's officiating all of Charlotte's title defenses. I know they're never going to bring it up, but that would be amazing if they did. If, like, Ric Flair had the fix in all this time.
Ooh.
There is something that I noticed about Ric Flair. There was a promo on Raw, and he wasn't really involved in it at all. And then after the promo was over, he just, like, leapt in and just said, "That's my little girl, JoJo, woo!" And I was thinking, how many other promos on the show could have benefited from that ending?
Like Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar?
I'm
not sure a Paul Heyman promo would benefit from that.
No, Case, are you suggesting that Ric Flair ends it with that, or that Paul Heyman refers to Brock Lesnar as his little girl? Woo.
I think no matter who it is, before they finish out the woo, Brock Lesnar would just tear their head off.
Now I'm imagining Brock Lesnar in a Mortal Kombat game.
It's not that hard to imagine, though, is it?
No, it's not.
I kind of want Brock Lesnar to introduce Paul Heyman one of these days, the way that Heyman introduces him. But I'd imagine, what would he call him, like the Jew incarnate, maybe?
He probably would. I mean, like, you've heard him, like, when he's talking about, like, how he's, going out to have, like, a big money match. He's like, I gotta go feed the Jew.
Wait, there is one more talking point. The Social Outcasts. Now, on Raw, they actually took on the Wyatt family, and with the aid of Ryback, drove them out of the ring.
Were you terrified when they came out to the ring that they were just going to bury the stable immediately?
Yes, yeah. I was.
It's kind of nice to see. This is what 3MB was supposed to be, and what the Job Squad originally was. A bunch of guys who can't get it done on their own, finding safety in numbers, and actually being able to get results.
Now, what do you think of them, actually, not just being squashed by the Wyatt family? The Wyatt family is supposed to be, this kayfabe dominant force, and this group of 4 jobbers just comes in and doesn't get squashed.
Well, okay. First and foremost, Ryback actually did most of the damage to the Wyatts.
Details.
Yeah, the Social Outcasts mostly just kind of ran interference for him. Secondly, as much as I love the Wyatts, I really wouldn't call them like they've spent the last 2 years doing nothing but picking fights they can't win. Like, okay, if you were talking 2013 to early 2014 Wyatt family, absolutely. When they were like,
didn't Bray Wyatt beat Dean Ambrose via exploding electronics?
Oh God. But okay, like back when the Wyatt family first showed up, when they were brainwashing Daniel Bryan, when they beat the Shield, and nobody fucking beats the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Basically everything up until WrestleMania, when John Cena ate Bray Wyatt alive. And ever since then, all Bray Wyatt has done is pick fights and get his ass kicked. He picks a fight with Chris Jericho and gets his ass kicked. He picks a fight with Dean Ambrose and gets his ass kicked. He picks a fight with The Undertaker and gets his ass kicked. He picks a fight with Roman Reigns and gets his ass kicked. He picks a fight with Undertaker and Kane and gets his ass kicked. He finally manages to not get his ass kicked when he picks a fight with the ECW guys.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, on the roadmap to a singles career, you want to avoid turning onto Cena Boulevard, really, don't you?
Pretty much. The man just... I don't know what it is. Well, I mean, obviously what it is that he just won't put people over. But the guy is just like anathema to a healthy career.
So many good things have ended with him.
Mm-hmm. The Nexus, Bray Wyatt, Rusev, Kevin Owens' initial like momentum.
He should really just call his finisher the altitude adjustment.
Yep. I at this point, Follow the Buzzard seems to be in reference to their career.
Oh, by the way, Ryback, I would actually like for him to have a loose alliance with the Social Outcasts, since he does have history with the Axeman.
He does.
That's true.
During
and with Heath Slater.
This week, during the WWE.com Michael Cole interview with the Social Outcasts, Cole asked them if Ryback was joining them, and while most of them said no, Heath Slater told them all to shut up and said yes, even though it was very clearly a lie. But maybe that will actually lead to something.
I kind of hope so. It would be neat if like Ryback is this like big dumb jock who has a bunch of nerd friends who won't leave him alone.
You can just imagine Ryback laying out someone that they're feuding with, and then all four of them just come running in and like jumping around, like yeah, like pointing.
It would be it would be great. Like you have like the sort of odd couple dynamic of Team Hell No, except with 4 Daniel Bryans and a Kane.
4 Daniel Bryans and a Kane sounds like an amazing stable, actually.
Sounds like a sitcom.
Let's make that happen. If WWE won't clear Daniel Bryan to wrestle again, get him on a sitcom with Kane and have him shoot like every scene 4 times and like superimpose them all in one shot so it looks like there's 4 Daniel Bryans in every shot.
That is ridiculous.
I know, and it would rule.
It would be better than any of their other original series.
You mean like the Stone Cold podcast?
I'm not going to include the Stone Cold podcast on that, for obvious reasons. I'm going to include, what was the name of that one with the terrible animated thing where superstars get real world jobs?
Oh, Slam City?
Yeah. Oh god, that was so terrible.
You know, okay, the network does actually have some really good original shows, but it's all the stuff that like breaks kayfabe. So like Breaking Ground and Table for 3, and really just those 2.
Yeah. Well then, since there's not really anything to discuss for NXT this week, let's close the show with some crowd chants and commentary. Mr. Jabba, do you have any?
I do have some, actually. There was one line from JBL, which I was struggling to wrap my brain around. He said, "If crazy could fly, Ambrose would be an airplane."
What? What? Ah!
So, does that mean that if Ambrose is just really, really crazy, is a plane like the flyingest thing there is? Because there's things that are much more efficient at flying than planes. So what's he trying to say exactly? So he's like man-made version of crazy.
Crazy equals helium.
I'm sure there is some truth to that.
I don't know. I got nothing. It's JBL.
Also, this one isn't a specific line, but it's also JBL. This is the second week in a row that he has discussed at length the posteriors of Rikishi and Umaga being in his face.
Ah, the good old days.
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
I don't get it. If you're going to reference yourself on commentary, at least brag about something like he usually does. You shouldn't be bringing up the fact that people's butts were in your face repeatedly. Oh well.
Now I have one line of commentary from Mauro Ranallo on Smackdown. Revenge is a dish best served with a side of elbow.
See, that one's actually almost, that one's actually funny.
Yes.
Like, I apparently need to watch more of this guy.
Yes, I definitely recommend that the both of you and our viewers that you all watch SmackDown, because hopefully Mauro Ranallo will be as good this week as he was last week.
As long as he doesn't have a hateful old grandpa shouting in his ear, we should be okay.
I mainly just know him as a kind of mediocre but enthusiastic MMA commentator who says really weird things. So that seems like it would work quite well for wrestling.
Yes, he is SmackDown's new play-by-play commentator.
That should be interesting then, at least.
All right. Well, shall we call it a show, gentlemen?
I think so. This was a really short episode, wasn't it?
There was nothing to talk about for NXT.
That's true.
All
Oh,
right,
I'm not sure whether we talked sufficiently about the odds being stacked against Roman Reigns this week, because they were pretty stacked. This is maybe the stackiest the odds have ever been against somebody.
I don't know.
I think it'll be even stackier at the Rumble.
It could be, although to be fair, there was that one year that they were stacked so far against Daniel Bryan that he just wasn't in the Royal Rumble. So I think not being in it is possibly, the odds are more against you than they are actually being in it, but having to defend your title.
I don't see why they need to put Roman Reigns in the underdog spot, because he's not. Like they book him as, tougher than everyone else and able to outsmart the McMahons at every move. Why are we acting like the odds are against him? Just let him be this awesome, cool guy who can beat anybody.
It reminds me of when John Cena was supposed to be in a kind of sympathetic underdog position when he was feuding with the Nexus, and then he was supposed to join the Nexus, but the whole time you could just see he was just smiling, like, yeah, I'm kind of above this, really.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to worry about me. I'm not really in any peril. Let's just suck all the drama out of this situation. Who needs tension? That's the way I feel Roman Reigns is behaving right now.
That's most of WWE's booking. Like, just make sure that nobody is in any doubt of what's going to happen at any time.
Not a whole lot happened this week at all, did it, really?
Yeah, I mean, this week felt like sort of a pause before they do, like, the big wind-up to the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, because next week is the go-home show for the Rumble.
Yep.
I feel that we have to ease people back into TLP, though, because there was that mammoth show last time with, obviously, the Yam Bag Awards.
That's
Yes.
true.
People might be all TLP'd out this week.
Also, one quick observation. Somebody's pointed out that with everybody who has either officially stated they're going to be in the Royal Rumble or been involved in, spots where they have like a big brawl with all the people who may be in the Rumble, all of the spots seem to be filled by now.
Huh.
Like, okay, there's a list, it's like the people who seem to be involved. All right, you've got, Roman Reigns defending, you've got Kalisto, Ambrose, Kingston, Big E, Xavier Woods, Brock Lesnar, Jericho, Bray Wyatt, so on, like all the Wyatts, everybody in the New Day, all four of the Social Outcasts, Goldust, Stardust, Kevin Owens, the Usos. Like, all 30 spots have been filled, so are they just not going to have any surprise entrants?
I mean, it's the Rumble. They have to have surprise entrants.
Yeah. Or I guess a few people will just get, left out. Maybe
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, with some like the stables, they only get like 1 or 2 entrants.
Yeah, like maybe Harper and Rowan aren't in the Rumble. They're just kind of aiding Bray Wyatt on the outside or something.
Mm-hmm.
They could always do some backstage bits actually on the Rumble show itself, where some of the people who thought they had a spot don't get one, like they did back in the day with Lowdown. Were supposed to have a spot for the Royal Rumble, and then I think it was given to Drew Carey, and they weren't too pleased with that.
That's a bit of a bump.
Yeah, that was when Tiger Ali Singh was their manager.
Oh wow, I completely forgot about Tiger Ali Singh.
I think the world has forgotten about him.
All right. Well, on that note, shall we close out the show?
I guess so.
All right. Well, as ever and always, I would like to do a quick shout-out to our friends over at the Game Buoy video game podcast, your stop for left of center gaming news and views. Gentlemen, congratulations on your 100th episode.
Yay!
We also invite you to give us your thoughts. Suggest talking points of your own and tell us what you thought of the week in wrestling by posting comments on this video, by tweeting at us at Tables Ladders, or by replying to our posts on Facebook. We also ask that you follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and share our posts. Rate us and subscribe on iTunes and shop on Amazon.com using our affiliate link. All of these links can be found on our Podbean page, tablesladderspodcast.podbean.com.
Well,
And with that, gentlemen, there remains one thing left to be said. TLP, everybody.
TLP, everybody.
May the force be with you.
everybody.
And also with you.